Are you saying that Senator Schumer should not be worried about a primary challenge from you?
I mean,
All right.
no.
Let me jump in on this one. This is
what we're talking about.
That's exactly what we're talking about.
This is what we're
you have a
talking
country
about.
that is falling apart. We have a housing crisis, a healthcare crisis, an education crisis, massive income and wealth inequality, a corrupt campaign finance system, and the media says, "Oh, you're going to run? What are you going to run for?" Nobody cares. She'll run more towards
Nobody cares.
It's the House Speaker and President Trump and the Vice President saying it.
Right.
Pardon?
Well, of course, they're saying it to deflect attention away from the real issues.
Exactly.
And here, let me tell you what the real issue is. Let's see if CNN talks about it. Why we have a president who denies the reality of climate change. Why we have oligarchs on top who have more and more power every day.
What CNN just did to AOC and Bernie Sanders at their own town hall was absolutely brutal. It turned into a complete meltdown live on television. AOC got exposed. Bernie stumbled through his answers, and the audience was left stunned.
He's an air traffic controller and a father of 4 who is joining us via video tonight. This is his question.
What do you suggest government workers do for food money when the paychecks stop coming?
I mean, these are the real questions that we have to be entertaining. And as I mentioned earlier, the best and most important solution to this is making sure that we reopen the government, not accept the inevitability of this, and come to a resolution as quickly as possible. Now, that being said, we do have to make sure that we come together as communities and that we also systemically expand our programming, like the SNAP cuts that just happened, in addition to the $1 trillion in healthcare cuts as well for families that are under financial duress.
You mentioned what Speaker Johnson has said about how long this could go on. We've heard from Senator Schumer as well, who said the other day that as long as this shutdown continues, he said, quote, every day gets better for us. Do you think every day, though, gets better for someone like Eric?
No, I mean, it's, at the end of the day, this needs to be as short as possible. We do not want the government to be shut down. We don't.
Senator Bobby Harms is joining us. She's a bartender from Horn Lake, Mississippi. She is a Democrat. She submitted her question via video.
A Democrat from Mississippi.
Indeed.
All right. There we go.
My American dream has turned into a nightmare. My family was only days away from closing on a USDA loan for our dream home. Then came news of the shutdown, and now we face uncertainty. Our lease is up, and now we have to move. The shutdown is costing us our chance to live our dream. What are you doing to end this stalemate and help restore faith in our elected officials, the people I helped to choose to guard my American dream?
We're going to do everything that we can to bring an end to this terrible shutdown, which is hurting you and which is hurting 1 million federal employees and millions of people who use federal services. But also, we have got to be cognizant that if Trump wins this fight, our healthcare system could well collapse and tens of thousands of people could die every single year.
Do you think Trump could win this fight?
No, we're going to win it. But it's not, I don't want to look at it like a political fight. We're going to win it because the American people are on our side.
Over in the House, there are 14 House Republicans who have said that they will sign on and they will vote for a 1-year extension of the subsidies. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries said he thought that proposal was laughable. Do you think that's laughable, or is that something you could get behind?
Yeah, no, let me tell you why it's laughable. Because it's cynical. Republicans want to sign on to just a 1 little extra year of these ACA subsidies. You want to know why? What's happening next year? Midterm elections. They want to extend these subsidies just a year extra so that people don't realize the dupe that they are pulling on everyone, so that they can all reelect themselves and allow those things to expire the moment that they win re-election. And it is time to get politics out of what should be a guaranteed universal right in the United States of America, and that is health care. And so I will not accept a measly 1-year acceptance of a measly 1-year extension of the ACA. We need to make sure, and as a member of the party, we put negotiations in the hands of our party's leadership with Hakeem Jeffries. He says it's no, it's no.
How do you think this shutdown reflects on Chuck Schumer's leadership?
Well, I think it reflects more on Mike Johnson's leadership and President Trump's leadership. This is a leadership which said it's okay to give well, how do you feel? You tell me. Think it's a good idea to give $1 trillion in tax breaks to the richest people in the country and then make massive cuts to health care for working class people?
I think Chuck Schumer has voted for continuing resolutions 13 times in the last 4 years, and he has the opportunity to vote for one again, but he's refusing to come to the table.
Well, I think, look, as I have said, there are 53 Republicans in the Senate, correct?
Yes.
They need 60. What does that mean? It means you have to talk to the other side. Mike Johnson is not talking. John Thune is not talking. President Trump is not talking. That is the problem.
Well, they say their position is reopen the government and then we'll talk.
When they talk about Republicans and their success online, they have been successful because they have also been very clear, especially digitally, about what they believe. That women are inferior, that they do not deserve equal rights, that they believe that LGBTQ Americans are subhuman, that they believe and are circulating disgusting racial and white supremacist messaging that they are able to get away with digitally and online. And they are able to radicalize and target and exploit a generation of young boys, in particular, away from healthy masculinity and into an insecure masculinity that requires the domination of others who are poorer, browner, darker, or a different gender than them. And that is why they are resonating online, because they are appealing to the most basest and worst parts of human nature to divide us.
Are you saying that Senator Schumer should not be worried about a primary challenge from you?
I mean,
All right.
no.
Let me jump in on this one. This is what
we're talking about.
That's exactly what we're talking about.
This is what we're
talking about. You have a
talking
country
about.
that is falling apart. We have a housing crisis, a healthcare crisis, an education crisis, massive income and wealth inequality, a corrupt campaign finance system, and the media says, "Oh, you're going to run. What are you going to run for?" Nobody cares. She'll run more towards
Nobody cares.
It's the House Speaker and President Trump and the Vice President saying it.
Right.
Pardon?
Well, of course, they're saying it to deflect attention away from the real issues.
Exactly.
And here, let me tell you what the real issue is. Let's see if CNN talks about it. We're living in the richest country in the history of the world, right? All right, you tell me why we're the only nation not to guarantee health care to all people, the only nation not to guarantee paid family and medical leave, why we have a $7.25 an hour minimum wage, why we have 800,000 people sleeping out on the street, why we have a president who denies the reality of climate change, why we have oligarchs on top who have more and more power every day. Let's talk about that issue, not her own.
The chaos began when a federal worker, a father of 4, stood up and asked AOC a simple question. What are we supposed to do for food when paychecks stop coming? AOC's response was filled with nothing but empty talking points. She spoke about reopening the government and expanding community programs, but never offered a real solution. The audience sat there quietly, waiting for something meaningful that never came. It almost felt like CNN knew exactly what they were doing, letting her dig her own hole on live television. Watching it unfold, it was hard to believe. She seemed completely disconnected from what real working families are actually facing. If you believe Americans deserve straight answers instead of word salad, tap subscribe right now. Then it was Bernie Sanders' turn. A woman shared how the shutdown shattered her dream of owning a home. Her family had been just days away from closing on their house before everything fell apart. Bernie's response caught everyone off guard. Instead of addressing her struggle directly, he brushed it aside and turned the moment into an attack on Donald Trump. He even said, "We just have to win this fight against Trump." Instantly, the sympathy in the room faded. What should have been a moment focused on real people turned into a political speech. Even CNN's own host looked uncomfortable as Bernie continued deflecting and ranting. Next, AOC doubled down on ideology. She mocked Republicans for proposing a 1-year extension on healthcare subsidies, calling it cynical, and insisted on universal healthcare for all or nothing. There was no room for compromise or discussion, just political grandstanding. Meanwhile, millions of families were dealing with the impact of a government shutdown. It became clear that AOC wasn't there to work through solutions. She seemed focused on promoting her vision of a socialist future, even if it meant pushing the standoff further. If you're tired of politicians who put ideology ahead of everyday people, go ahead and smash that subscribe button, because I'm exposing it all. As more people in the audience began speaking up, the frustration in the room was impossible to ignore. Question after question from regular Americans received the same response: blame Trump, blame Republicans, and deflect responsibility. At one point, a young man challenged Bernie about Democratic leadership, and Bernie snapped back, accusing him of defending billionaires. The crowd looked stunned. You could see it on their faces. Even longtime Democrats appeared exhausted by the same talking points. CNN didn't have to embarrass them. The situation was unraveling on its own. Then came the final moment. When CNN asked AOC whether she planned to primary Chuck Schumer, things spiraled even further. Before she could answer, Bernie jumped in, raising his voice about oligarchs and real issues. Suddenly, the room was chaotic. Both of them seemed to lose control of the conversation. CNN attempted to move the discussion forward, but by then the damage was already done. The meltdown had played out in front of everyone. AOC looked shaken, Bernie appeared visibly angry, and the audience had clearly had enough. That single question ended up revealing far more than expected. Instead of focusing on solutions, the night seemed to revolve around politics, power, and attention. What was supposed to be a powerful town hall became a public relations disaster. AOC appeared unprepared. Bernie came across as frustrated and combative, and CNN simply let the moment unfold. By the end of the night, the event that was meant to showcase a progressive message had turned into something very different. If you believe Americans deserve real leadership rather than scripted outrage, make sure to like this video, hit the subscribe button, and share your thoughts in the comments below. Because after tonight, one thing became very clear: the mask is starting to slip.